We start recording. Okay. Thank you again for being with us one more week here at the club. Today we have Danny Nieves with South Florida Inspectors. We were talking before the classes started of how inspectors can really make or break a deal. And it's more than that, they have to do their job, but we need to also be aware of what are the mistakes that we're making as professionals and not helping our clients the best way that we can. So Danny, thank you so much for your time, for giving this opportunity to be a part of the club and teaching us, what you consider super important, these 10 most common mistakes in the home inspection. I have been working with South Florida inspectors for a while, and I can tell you, I can testify how professional they are, super efficient, on time. You get the reports in 24 hours. I'm sure that Danny's going to explain to you a little bit more about that. But thank you so much, Danny, and the class is all yours.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you. Definitely thank you guys for having me today. And how's it going, Ro? I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, all of us are trying to do what we got to do to end this year strong and to start 2026 even stronger. That's the goal for to helping us our members,
How
with these batches that we've had in this past 2 years. But we're doing great. Thank you for asking, Danny.
Definitely.
Danny? Good to see you too, and I have to say to everyone that you do a super job in your inspections because we've done business before. You've done business for a lot of our clients, and again, I thank you for the professionalism and the type of work that you and your company and your boys and girls do. Thank you.
I appreciate you
Absolutely.
guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Can you guys see my screen there?
Yes, yes, we can.
All right. Let me see here. All right. You guys can see the presentation, right?
Yes, correct. We can. Perfect.
All right, perfect, guys. And so today, guys, my name is Danny. I'm with South Florida Inspectors. Our company has been in business already. It's crazy. We're going on 6-7 years already. Today, when we started first year, I think we did something like 25 inspections. Today, we do about 4,000 inspections a year, to give you guys an idea. But yeah, so we're licensed home inspectors, licensed engineers, licensed mold assessors, licensed for termites too, which is really big if you guys are doing anything that has to do with some FHA loans or VA loans. So we don't have to get a third party into it. We can always do it ourselves. Then give me 1 second here. Fix my screen here. All right, you guys can see my screen and everything. I don't know why it's like freezing up on me here.
Yes, we can. If you want to pass a slide,
Yeah.
I'll tell you if it's passing. Yes, we can see it
All
as
right, you see
it's
it?
kind of like as
Perfect.
a PDF. Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's a PDF for some reason my office sent me. But yeah, so I have a presentation today. Is nothing boring, guys. My office sent over the link. So if anybody wants to do the CE credits, just sign it. Share the link around for you guys to be able to get credits for it.
Correct.
And they sent me a PDF, so we're gonna have to work with this today.
Mhm.
But as I mentioned here, 4,000 inspections a year. Today we're a team of 8 of us. All of our guys here uniformed, marked vehicles. We're a complete brand. We had an office in Coral Gables, but now we already moved it. We just moved it over to a bigger space in West Kendall. All our reports are guaranteed same day. Most of our reports are always set within 1 to 3 hours from the inspection. Reason a lot of people love us too is with all our inspections, our inspectors show up with actual either boxes of cookies or pastelitos. That kind of became at the beginning, it was just a little gesture we did, and now it just became part of the brand. All right, and then let's see. So presentations today, guys, it's nothing boring. What we're gonna do is things to help you guys at some point in your career. You guys are gonna run into one of these top deficiencies, and I like to be able to educate our realtors with it, and that way you guys know how to kind of handle it. So if you guys pay attention with this, it's going to prevent you guys from, or it's going to help you guys from one of your deals falling apart. But quick little 101, always like to do this in the beginning. If there's any new agents, couple of things I always like to go over. Difference between inspection and appraisal. So an inspection, we go out there to check pretty much the safety and the condition of the property. That way the buyer can know if the property has anything from $1,000 in issues or $10,000 in issues. And that's what realtors use to try to see if we can negotiate it with the sellers. For example, if there's termites or whatever, for them to have it treated before the closing. So, but yeah, then appraisal, that is determined by the bank sends their appraiser, and that's to determine the property's value. So, and just to clarify a quick confusion that I know a lot of new agents have, a lot of times we get calls, they just want to book a 4-point or whatever. So with an inspection, especially if it's for a buyer, there's always three type of inspections. There's the general home inspection. That's the complete detailed one that lets you guys know everything about the property. So even if there's, like I said, if there's termites, we go over everything: roof, ceiling, foundation, structure, plumbing, electrical, appliances, AC, heating, kitchen, bathrooms. We go in the attic and we give your buyer a complete detailed report so they know the condition of the property they're buying. And then there's the 4-point and the wind mitigation. The 4-point and the wind mitigation, that's strictly for insurance purposes. This is what the insurance company uses to be able to see if the property qualifies for insurance and determine the quote of the policy. The wind mitigation, something super important. This is what's going to give your buyer the discounts on their policies. So the 4-point, the bank only wants to know what type of roof, how old it is, what type of plumbing, what type of electrical, and what type of AC. And the wind mitigation, that's what the bank that's what lets the bank, or sorry, the insurance company know, in the event of a hurricane, can this home, is it low risk or is it high risk? So if the property has impact windows, depending on how the garage is secured to the property and how the roof is secured to the property, this will allow for the buyer to get all the credits, and it will drastically lower the policy for your buyer. And a lot of times it's kind of a make or break. So super important. With us, you don't have to worry about it, because whenever you book an inspection with us, we always include the 4-point and wind mitigation. One thing I always like to let our agents know: remind your buyer never to send the complete home inspection report, the general home inspection report, to your buyer. I mean, to the insurance company. That's going to open up a can of worms. So if we see that, for example, mold around the dogs, things like that, just have your buyer resolve that or negotiate it with the sellers, but the insurance company doesn't have to see that. They just send them always the 4-point and the wind mitigation. Christine, let me know if you want me to go slower, if you guys have any questions regarding so far.
I think that so far we're doing great. Just in case, guys, if you have a question, Danny is bilingual. You can ask your questions in Spanish. Don't feel intimidated. The most important thing is for you guys to have all the information that you can have this morning. So please go ahead, Danny.
All right, perfect. All right, and then as mentioned, quick presentation. It's not going to be long. Go by really, I keep it short, sweet, and simple, so you guys can be able to remember it. And like I said, these are going to be the major things, and these are the only things that actually make or break a report. Our reports obviously will cover small things on it. If there's broken tiles again in the bathroom, if there's a broken door in the fence, that we'll put it on the report. But we always like to tell buyers there's a big difference. You know, they're buying a used property. It's kind of like buying a house with like buying a car with 100,000 miles. It's always going to have its wear and tear. But the inspection report is what it's going to determine if there's anything major with it. One thing I always like to tell my agents: get in the habit of, when you go under contract, just tell the buyer, congrats, you're under contract. It's time to do the inspection. The inspector's going to go out there, and like I mentioned, he's going to determine if the property has just wear and tear issues or if there's anything major in it. One thing I see a lot of agents do is they try to just always say, yeah, the property's perfect. The property's perfect. So then when an inspector lists, little wear and tear things they find on it, or minor things on it, it tends to scare the buyer on it. On our end, so regardless if you use our company or if the buyer chooses another company, that's always a really good habit to get into, to letting your buyers know. But if it's with us, we're always gonna we can always go over the whole entire report with them. And for example, termites, we always let them know on it. We word it in a way to educate the buyers on it. So if there's termites in the property, for example, we always like to tell the buyer, when was the last time you saw a tent on a property? You never see them anymore, because nowadays they have tentless treatments that they go in there and they fog it, or they do a spot treatment, and it costs a fraction of the price, and they're done in 2 hours or so. So as opposed to other companies that just put termites on and they think the house is going to collapse. Guys, houses in South Florida don't collapse with termites. Houses here are built with concrete. So, and termites, I'll get into when we go there, but that's 70% of houses have them. All right, so going to start with the first one. This one's kind of the make or break on it. If you guys learn how to handle the roof on it, everything else on it is pretty easy, and there'll be no reason for a deal to ever fall apart. So roofs. These are the 3 types of roofs you guys are going to see in South Florida. You guys have shingle, you guys have tile, you guys have metal roofs. The numbers below it, that's the life expectancy. That's the number that Citizens actually wants us to start using now, With shingles, 15 years. We still put 20 to 25 years on it. Tiles, they brought it down from 50 down to 35 years. And then metal roofs, there's claiming 50 years, even though most manufacturers are claiming lifetime, but it's still not proven on it. So Citizens is giving them 50-year lifespan on it. We didn't come up with those numbers, guys. When we have our yearly meetings with Citizens, or we have to follow their guidelines, this is what they want us to follow. I know after that big storm that wiped out the west coast of Florida, they did make the life expectancy a little bit more stricter, which is why they're trying to bring down the numbers. But for the most part, we're still following the 20 years, the 35, and the 50 years for it. So whenever you see, for example, whenever you see on the report that we put end of life on a report, the way we got that number, guys, or the reason how we get to end of life is just doing the math on it. If the roof was built in 2000 and what is it? If it was done in 2005 and it's a shingle roof, then we know on it's already approaching end of life, or it is end of life. Couple solutions are on this, and all of these things, guys. This is me over the last 6, 7 years, 20,000 plus inspections, and it's pretty much me studying top agents and seeing how they've been able to handle it and their resolution to save their deal. And I've kind of compressed it into a little report. But yeah, top solutions with it. If we do a inspection and we find broken tiles on it, or it's approaching the end of life on it, have the seller do the repairs on the tiles and stuff and get permits on it. This will allow us to be able to put on the report that there was, or it's to show at least on the report that there was a permit from 2025 for repairs on it, and that will buy your buyer a lot more time on it from the immediate roof replacement. Another couple of things on it, obviously, the seller credit, seller contribution. One thing a lot of agents don't know is, let's say your buyer really loves the house on it, he wants to move forward with it, even though it's end of life, and the seller gave him a contribution. There is something called insurance binders, and what that is insurance companies, what they do is they're able to bind the policy on the terms of the buyer is going to have it re-roofed or hire a company to re-roof it within 60 to 90 days. This is a little trick that a lot of agents can do with insurance companies to still be able to bind, insure, and close on that property. Always, other thing too on it is if there's no permits on it, super important for us to be able to today, and because Citizens have gotten so strict with roofs, if there's no permits on a roof, we are going to have to get what's called a roof certification. And what that is we get a licensed roofer to go out there, and he gives his report saying, hey, ABC Roofing Company, they inspected the property, and the roof still has 5 years plus left of lifespan on it. And with that report, it allows us to give us the 5 years. Many years ago, we were able to eyeball it and do it, but now they've gotten pretty strict on it, and they do require us to do the roof certification. Another thing is too, if you are able to get a seller credit on it, a lot of buyers don't know this, but you can finance a roof over a long period of time. So I've seen some people finance roofs for 10, 15 years, and the cost on it, let's say you do get a seller contribution of 10 grand or whatever it is on it. From what I've seen, I haven't done it myself, but I have heard of financing terms on it for a couple of $100 a month. So another option, if your buyer's on the fence on it, just let them know on this. Whenever they do repairs, guys, super important. If you do get a roofer, always get a licensed roofer to do repairs on it, because we will need it to show the insurance company that it was done with it. If there's no permits or there's no invoice or letter from a licensed roofer, then it's pretty much like if they didn't do any type of any repairs. So, however, let's say, and this is actually something I see, especially with elderly buyers, that you already know off the bat that your buyer's not going to buy a house with the roof that's going to need to be replaced. We can, and we offer this service to our agents or anybody who's going to use our company. Let's say you're looking at 3 different properties to show your buyers. All you guys got to do, and we offer this to everybody, send me a text with the address. And what we do is we pull up the permits on it, and I can let you know before you guys even go under contract to not waste time on it, especially if you know, like I said, that the buyer's not going to buy it. And I can let you guys know. And what it does is I pull it up in my system. And for example, on this one, it showed that the roof was last done in 2020. And that way I can tell you, hey, this roof was last done 5 years ago. It's a concrete tile roof or it's a shingle tile roof. Your buyer's not going to have to worry about a new roof for 30 years. You're good on the roof part of it. Or vice versa. It says that the roof was last done in 91. It's shingle. I can let you know, hey, look, prepare your nose for that inspection report to show that the roof is going to be at end of life. So if you know your buyer's not going to buy that, just heads up on it. So super cool little thing we offer to everybody. Like I said, it's free of charge. You just shoot me a text. I don't care if it's one address or if it's 20 addresses, and I'll be able to pull up the permits on it and get you guys the information on it. Any questions on this so far? If I'm going too fast, let me know, guys.
That's great. No, we're good.
All right. Christina, did you know about the service that we offer?
I didn't know that about that service. See,
Yeah.
that's something new that I learned today. That's wonderful.
Like I said, they can just shoot
Saves a
any of you
lot
guys
of
can just shoot me a
time.
text message and we'll be able to provide you guys this information. Or
That's
also if a
fantastic.
property was renovated and you want to know if everything was done with permits, we'll always be able to provide the whole entire permit
Oh,
history of it.
wow.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys get through the roof part of it, everything else, I'll teach you guys here now the solutions for it and how to handle it, and you won't have to worry about anything else with the home inspection. So next one, electrical. At some point in your career, especially if you are showing houses older than 1978, a lot of them in Hollywood, what is it? Virginia Gardens, Miami Springs, all that. You're gonna run into one of these old electrical panels, and the brands are Federal Pacific, Zitsco, Challenger, Sylvania. These panels are now considered obsolete, and an insurance company will not insure them. The reason for that is years ago they worked, but today, with the amount of electricity that consumers use, it overloads panels, and they were known now to start catching on fire. So insurance companies do require that they get replaced prior to closing. So if you see on the report that we listed one of these panels and it says uninsurable, that doesn't mean that the contract is going to fall apart. You got to find another house. And as mentioned, from what I've seen, all our top agents, what they do on it, they reach out to the sellers, let them know, hey, my buyer loves the property. The only thing is the inspector did find that the panel was obsolete. We will need that replaced in order for us to insure the property and move forward with it. These panels, so you guys know, solutions to it, extend the inspection period so you guys can work that out with the sellers. Most companies, what they charge to do those replacement costs on them, it's about 1,500, 3,000. I've never seen a quote for 3,000, but most companies will charge $1,500 or between 1,200 to 1,500 to 1,700 to replace the panel. That's something they do in one day. And after they do that replacement, you can either have the electrician or the sellers give me a call, send me the pictures, and I can update the report, and you guys can be able to move forward with that transaction. There is a couple of other things, but I'm only listing the most common ones of it. If a property has things like cloth wiring, not gonna lie, those are a lot more difficult, but it's just becoming really, really, really rare. And hopefully you guys won't run into that. But obsolete panels, at some point, you guys are gonna run into one of these in your career. All right, next on this, AC. A lot of times I do have buyers that call me a little mad on this. Hey, the AC is 12 years old. The seller said that it was new or newish. Why'd you guys put end of life? We didn't come up with that number, guys. Citizens makes us those life expectancy. We have to follow our guidelines, and Citizens considers ACs at 12 years to already start becoming high risk. However, on this, so I always let buyers know, just because this one is not going to make or break the insurance or binding, you'll still be fine on it. But if it does say end of life, it's because in South Florida, people use ACs pretty much stronger than anywhere else in the country. So once it starts reaching that 10 to 12 years limit on it, 10 to 12 years age on it, we do have to put the end of life on it, let your buyers know. However, I always tell buyers with it, if ACs, if they buy it, and if they do buy an AC, as long as they have that AC completely serviced, get the coils cleaned out on it, and obviously, have an AC company go out there, take a look at it, make sure it's still good. If they maintain that AC, and a lot of people, what they do is they change the filter out every single month on it, but they never do the full clean out. But as long as they're maintaining that AC, and I tell people, it's just like buying a used car. Whenever you buy a used car, you always got to take it in, and doesn't matter when they said the last time they changed the oil on it. Make sure you have it fully serviced so you guys know when it was the last time it was done. With proper maintenance and replacing the filters on it, the one on my mom's house is going on 35 years, guys. So Like I said, just because it says 10 to 12 years, and if your buyer is still concerned, remember, I have no issue getting on the call with the buyer to let them know the same exact thing. I always tell them the story about my mom's house that to make them feel more comfortable. However, let's say it doesn't work. It's 15 plus 20 years on it, and the AC does need to be replaced. Solutions to it: extend the inspection period on it, get replacement cost on it. Most ACs anywhere $4,000 to $6,000 for a complete new system. And something I always tell people: ACs you can finance them. Same thing. The one in my house, I financed it through Lowe's, and what I pay for it is like $110 a month. But super important, your electrical bill, about 70-80% of it is going to be your AC. Most new systems now today on the market, they're all energy efficient. And once I replaced my AC, my electric bill literally went down about $180-$200. So it's paying itself off. Plus, I'm saving money on it. So something to always think about. If they see that the AC is end of life, I have no issue explaining this to your buyer. Hey, look, if you replace it with it, just the money you're gonna save on the new one, you can finance an AC and it's gonna pay for it itself. All right. Any questions on this part? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can. Very interesting. I can't believe your mom's is 35 years old. It's like, wow,
35.
the
But I mean,
AC.
when she turns it on, she puts it at 74. When I turn mine off, I put it at 74. So it's a little different, but yeah. All right. Next thing, termites. Termites, 80% of homes, guys, especially if they're over 10 years old, we're gonna find termites on them. Termites are insects just like roaches, just like ants. And I promise you, if I go to all of your houses, I'm gonna find termites in 80% of the realtors that are watching this house is on it. Just because there's termites, it's not going to be kind of like this photo. It doesn't mean that the house is going to collapse. It doesn't mean it's an infestation. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll find little wings around the windowsills, the little droppings. And as I mentioned, today on it, and I always tell buyers, just because there's termites, it's just like roaches. We cannot get rid of termites. That's why it's called pest control and not pest elimination. Termites is just like the same way you treat ants or roaches. You have to be getting a treatment or preventative treatment on the property. But if there is termites, as I said earlier, I always tell the buyer, when was the last time you guys saw a tent on a property? You don't really see them anymore because years ago it used to be really expensive to do it. And nowadays they treat them just like the same way they do with basic pest control, like ants or roaches, that they go in there, they apply a gel all over the attic or a fog all over the attic, and they're in 1 or 2 hours. And nowadays, what used to cost thousands of dollars, nowadays, I think most companies who are doing this, and Termite Guys is the company that we always recommend that we use for that we confidently recommend to our agents. I think what they charge is anywhere from $800 to $1,100 to do it, and they always give a warranty with the work on it. So if there's a termites in the property, guys, remember, unless you're selling home, and I know Country Walk has wood homes, but the rest of Florida, they're all concrete houses, guys. The house is not gonna collapse. I always tell buyers, so it's not anything to worry about. And this is the importance of knowing things like this, as opposed to a buyer just seeing termites and they think it's gonna collapse and they want to go look for another house. Super common on it, and as I mentioned, I have no problem ever telling one of your buyers this. Next on it. All right, so termites are common. They're not really deal breakers. All right, let's see.
Can we talk about septic tanks?
Let me at the end of after, let me go over this because I only have 2 more slides on this, and then I can answer your questions on all this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. That is the number for termite, guys. If you guys want to save that number on it, highly recommend them. They're super cheap. I know we call Orkin because they always send a sales guy. They tend to charge pretty exaggerated quotes on it, but father and son company I've always used. They treat my own house. As always, get 3 different quotes, and whoever, either if your buyer's gonna pay for it or have the seller fix it, and have them provide a report that it was treated. That way your buyer feels comfortable with it. All right. Next, mold. Mold is something that's super common in South Florida. What causes mold? Heat, humidity. What is South Florida? Heat and humidity. Most of the times, we find mold in about 50% of homes, but whenever we find mold, guys, it's always going to be caused, and I want to say 9 out of 10 times when we find mold in a house, it's going to be caused by the AC, and it's going to look something like this that you see on the right, and it's going to be found on the AC system. Reason for that, just like I mentioned during the AC slide, is most people they'll change the filter every single month, but they never really do that yearly full service that they should be doing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the agents on this call or on the Zoom are guilty of that too, which it doesn't matter if you're changing out your filter over time, the coils are still going to get that condensation. They're still going to get clogged. And what happens is once they start getting dirty and clogged, condensation builds on it. And once you have condensation, mold starts building around the ducts, around the AC and the ducts. So if you guys ever see on a report that there's some mold on it, super easy to fix on this. All you really have to do is don't call a 1-800 mold, because those guys are going to show up there with a COVID-19 hazmat suit and exaggerate it. Call a AC company that can service and do the clean out of it. Most of the father and son smaller companies that are licensed in both HVAC and mold remediation, they charge anywhere from 1,500 to I want to say 2,500 to do the complete clean out of to do the full service of the AC, the complete clean out of the AC and the ducts, and I guess pretty much the remediation of it all. So just because there's mold, it doesn't mean that it's something that they're gonna die on their property or it's uninhabitable. It just means they have to get an AC service, AC clean out on it, and they'll be good with it. Same thing, ask for an extension period, see if the seller wants to do it. If not, I have no issue letting your buyer know. This is something super common on it. Most of the properties, when I bought my own house, they had it. So, and I actually had to do it again because even though I see so many houses, it's pretty funny. When I get home, I just don't even want to look at my own house but it's something I had to do recently too on it. But yeah, so all right. And then last one on this is plumbing. You guys are going to start seeing this a lot more. A lot of houses, especially houses built prior to 1978, they had cast iron plumbing. Cast iron is just like if any of you guys have ever cooked with a cast iron pan, if it's not cleaned out properly, it starts to corrode over time. What Florida builders realize, or over time they realize, is that cast iron does corrode and it bursts after a while. Cast iron had a lifespan of 50 years. So because it was discontinued in 1978, if a property does have cast iron, it's going to be end of life on it. So it's going to have to be changed out, but just kind of realize that there's no such thing as good cast iron anymore. However, solutions to it. Always request, we can do a sewer scope. We do them ourselves on it. And today, something that's pretty cool is years ago to fix cast iron, you used to have to break the floors, change out all the plumbing. That's something that took days, weeks, permits. Nowadays, there's something super cool. Do I have pictures of it? I do. Nowadays, there's something that's kind of been taking over the industry, and this is called cured in place pipe. And what they do is companies literally do this in one day. It looks like a fire hose, and they bring it in. They run it through the inside of all the plumbing, and then it expands and it hardens, and it's pretty much like they have PVC in the property. And this costs a fraction of the price of what it used to cost to replace plumbing. So super cool thing for you guys to learn. Remember this always if there's ever cast iron in a property, because this will save your deal. Man, that is the most common ones. Like I promise, short, sweet, and simple for you guys to know. These are the things you guys have to remember. You guys are gonna run into one of these things in your career. As long as you guys remember this will save your deal on it. Won't freak out your buyer. And as mentioned, if you guys don't feel comfortable talking to your buyers, I can always speak to your buyer the same way I explained it to you guys today. I explain it to your buyers. I always tell people the truth on it. I always like to give people knowledge on it. Most things, just about everything in a house, guys, is going to be wear and tear. There's nothing really major other than a roof for anybody to worry in a property. And other than, like, for example, the plumbing or the roof on it, most things can be replaced for a couple $100. Let's say you have a leaking roof. You can get a roofer to go out there and fix it for about $500. During Hurricane Irma, I think I had something like 30 something broken tiles, and a roofer went out there and changed them all. And they quoted me, I literally paid like $500 for all of that. So just because you have a leaky roof on it doesn't mean that they should walk away from the house. They can fix that for a couple of $100 on it. Termites doesn't mean they should walk away from the house. They can fix that for less than $1,000 with warranty on it, and they should be doing it regardless if the house has termites or not. They should be getting a preventative treatment to avoid it, the same way you guys do with roaches and all that kind of stuff. If you guys have a preventative, you won't have a pest infestation inside the property. And same thing with mold too. Even if the house doesn't have mold, make sure as soon as they buy in, they service that AC, they have it clean. That way it prevents mold. So all of these things, whether it's on their report or not, with proper maintenance on it, just like a car, they can avoid all these kind of things. And none of these things are things that they should ever walk away from a property from. All right, that was my presentation. Most important thing I always tell people, guys, prepare your buyer. Let them know. Every house is going to have issues. The inspector's going to go in there and he's going to see if it's anything crazy, if the house is collapsing, if it's going to fall apart, or if everything's wear and tear. And 99.999% of the times, the house is not going to collapse. So they should be okay with it. That was my presentation, and now I'll start taking questions. I think somebody had a question about septic.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. Can you elaborate on the septic tank issue that
Yes.
some houses might have? Thank
So
you.
septic, to be straightforward with you, no home inspector does septic. The reason for that is septic, they have to go out there. So if a property has septic tank on it, we do have partners that we go out there. And what they do is that they go out there and they pump out the septic tank and then they do the inspection for it. So to do a septic tank inspection, they do have to pump it out. Couple things, super important for you guys to remember. The easiest and most the low cost way to get a septic tank is try to ask the listing agent or the sellers if they have the contact to the company that they used. Septic tanks, they need to get it cleaned out every year or 2 years, depending on the size of the home, depending on the size of the tank on it. But if they have the contact and the company's been there before, it's going to cost about half the cost as if you have to contact a random company or a new third party company who's never gone to the property, because then they have to charge the fee to locate it and then do the pump out of it. So most companies, if it's a random third party company, they're going to charge about 500, 600 bucks on it. If the seller has a contact of who they've used, they usually charge about 300. We do have a partnership with On My Way Septic and I think All City Septic, which if you let them know that you're doing inspection with South Florida inspectors, I think they do it for around 400 bucks. So we've never had any issue with them. We've been using them for over 5-6 years, and buyers like them. But yeah, septic tanks is not something that any home inspector will do. Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you so much.
No. Any other questions on it?
Sí, por favor, ¿cuál es la duración de los paneles eléctricos?
La duración, the life expectancy. So they really don't have they don't really have a life expectancy. However, 1978, that's when they discontinued the obsolete panels. Things such as la plomería cast iron y los paneles que son obsolete, eso lo pararon completo en 1978.
Gracias.
O sea,
Yeah,
pero cuando,
metals don't really have a life expectancy. If you have a good
right.
panel, they're forever.
And they have something that they can replace individually, right? Because I've seen that also in inspections, de que hay un problema con el panel eléctrico, pero no es todo el panel, sino como ciertos espacios del panel que tienen que ser reemplazados. Is that correct, Danny?
No. So if it is an obsolete panel, they do have to replace the panel, but they don't have to replace all the wiring in the house. That they don't have to do. There is going to be times that, let's say there is a double tap in the property, then that's where what they pretty much do is that they hooked up 2 cables to 1 breaker. That insurance companies don't allow it. And if we put it on the report, they're going to have to get a electrician, or I'm not allowed to say this, but like a handyman or something to go out there and have that taken care of. That's not anything that needs a permit or anything. So I'm not allowed to say that because technically even a ceiling fan is supposed to have a permit. But as long as it's done and you guys send me a picture of it, we can update the report on it. And it's super common, guys. Double taps on breakers, we find them almost every day. We do 10 to 20 inspections a day, and there's always a property with it. And that's a 30-minute fix by the electrician.
Wow, that's super simple. And very important here, they're asking you, what is your cost? The cost that it's normal or around average for a condo or for a house, Danny?
So our inspections start pretty much where our inspections start at for condos around $375, and our home inspections start at $425. And that's for the complete inspection, the 4-point and the wind mitigation. And something super cool about us is after you guys close on the property, we give all the buyers a free pest control treatment. And that's done by one of our sister companies. That's 100% free of charge. We provide that. No obligations. They don't got to sign up for anything. And you guys can even use that as a closing gift to your buyers.
That's phenomenal. And how do we do that? We
Wow.
just kind of like send you an email saying we closed, introducing you to the
Yeah,
buyer, and
when
then you.
they book, they'll see that on the email as well too. And you just let we always remind your buyer too when they're closing on it. Literally when you're walking out of the title company, give us a call and we'll coordinate to have the pest control company go out there either the same day or the next day. That way they can move into the property free of any bugs, roaches, spiders. That way they have a nice clean home to move into too.
That is fantastic. And as you see, the prices are very, very competitive. It includes all the reports that we need for the insurance company, because that's crucial. We can't have an insurance company give us a quote or perform their job without the inspection report and what we require. So that's super important. ¿Hay alguien más que tiene la mano levantada? Healthy
Yo,
coffee.
yo,
Who's healthy coffee?
me. I
You.
have a question. First, I have two questions. La primera es, los reportes incluyen como un estimado del costo de reparación. Do you have that in the reports?
Yes. With all of our reports, we always do the approximate cost of reports. The approximate cost of repairs.
Mhm.
And we do use that for just a guideline for the buyer to know the estimate cost. And that's for them to know if it's gonna have in total, if the property has $1,000 in issues or 10,000. And that way you guys can use it to negotiate. With our reports, we do have something pretty cool on it that it's at the end of the report, we have what's called repair request builder, that it can simplify your report on just a one pager.
Mhm.
Obviously, a lot of times, let's say cracks on the driveway, things like that are trip hazards for your buyer to know. The seller, being honest, the seller's never gonna fix those things. But let's say the termite or the mold on it, on our reports, it does have a section at the end that you can check mark the ones that you want to negotiate with the listing agent, and they'll create you a nice, easy to read one page for you guys to email over to the listing agent.
Great.
That's
So
correct.
I have another question. It's like working with sellers. I do work with a lot of sellers, and I would like to do these pre-home inspections before the buyers came in and lowball my listings, right? So we can do that. We can work the inspection before. And
Yes, amazing question. Yeah.
the
But
seller can have the option to get the pest control option too if they pay for the
anyone,
inspection.
anyone, if you guys all send me a message, I'll get it for all you guys too. But regardless if you did an inspection with me or not, but we provide that to everybody. And just to be transparent, what that company does is they go out there, they give you guys the treatment, and that way, hopefully, if you guys like it, you guys call them back out there again. So I can get that service for anybody here.
Okay, great.
But yeah, super great thing you mentioned, guys. Pre-listing inspections will save your deals. If you
Yeah.
guys don't want to
Yes.
deal with the buyer bringing in an inspector in, let's be real. There's always those inspectors who didn't make it as cops and they want to call out everything and exaggerate things. And that way they don't exaggerate, for example, the mold on it. As I mentioned to you guys, nine out of 10 times, mold is just an AC company that has to service it and clean it for $1,500. But if you do a pre-listing inspection and the property has that we found termites or we found mold, this gives you guys time con calma to be able to find your contractor to go out there and have that resolved. That way the buyer doesn't go out there and they put they're trying to say that it's a $20,000 mold issue or it's a $20,000 termite issue on it. And whatever you guys have resolved too, we can then update our report. That way, if you guys are doing open houses, you guys have a pre-listing inspection report that you could provide to any
Yes.
potential buyers.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fantastic way to take a listing
Yes.
for those of you who are listing agents, because then, once you're even in the MLS, you can also set the house has been already previously inspected, so you know where you're going. Y también importante que sepan, nuestros contratos son as is contracts. Y como Dani está diciendo, cuando uno habla con el buyer, le tenemos que explicar, las casas son normal que un carro, se van a tener ciertas cosas para que estén preparados y no para que piensen, porque a veces que los sellers no están dispuestos a negociar. Es importante también dejarle saber eso a nuestro cliente, al buyer. Usted puede negociar, pero eso no quiere decir que el seller va a aceptar la negociación. Eso es una conversación que se tiene que tener, pero el contrato es claro que el seller no está obligado a negociar, el seller no está obligado a dar un crédito, a arreglar nada, es un as is purchase. Pero si el buyer no está de acuerdo, como también sabemos, el buyer puede o decir sí, yo arreglo o salirse. Pero cuando tú tienes un buen inspector o una compañía que te va a aclarar y que está dispuesta a responder las preguntas de tu buyer, al menos de que sea algo, como dice Danny, súper catastrófico, no hay razón para que un buyer se pueda retirar de una inspección, sobre todo cuando hay una escasez de casas, como son single family homes, ¿no?
Mm. And
¿Hay
a lot
algo
of
más
times
que...
too,
Yeah,
right, Christina,
right.
a lot of times too, it's yeah, all transactions are as is, but it's also used as a tool so that a buyer potentially doesn't get scared out of it. So remember, for that same example, if there was any mold or termites or let's say a leak on the roof, that way you guys have that resolved. That way the buyer has no excuse to not want to back out of that contract. And all our reports are digital too. So I'm not sure if you can put it on the MLS. It's actually something I'm not sure if anybody's ever done. But any potential buyer or something, they can have a link on it for them to be able to read the report on it before they even put an offer on the house.
Y mejor todavía, porque estamos mostrando, we're showing transparency.
Yeah.
Like saying, this is completely transparent. There's no surprises. And by the way, yes, we can download your reports as a PDF form, which is great. We can do that or interact with the reports. La verdad es que es excelente. Nos están pidiendo, maybe Danny, if you can share this PDF with us so they
Absolutely.
can
I'm gonna
go
send it to
over.
you
Yeah,
and
okay,
send
perfect.
everybody my phone number. The phone number on the slide I think is my office, but feel free, Christina, to send everybody my direct cell phone and they can call me. They can text me with any questions they have. Even if you're the seller and the buyer has a report that's just kind of making your transaction a headache, I have no problem going over a report from another company to let you guys know, hey, look, they're kind of trying to take advantage or they're lying or whatever it is, and that you guys know how to handle it. I'm always here to help, guys.
That is phenomenal. As I'm telling you, I have tried Danny some on the weekend, like late at night, and I was surprised that he did answer. I was like, wow.
24/7, 24/7.
24/7. He's not lying about that. I think
Yeah.
that that's one of the most important things when you have a vendor or a trusted partner in your business, because I've said it all the time. Inspection companies, you have to see them as your partner. And when you have that, and I didn't know about this permit thing, that you're like saying, hey, I'm looking into these houses. Can you let me know if everything is on point, the roof age or whatever? That's priceless.
It
Because
is. I've
usually that's
always,
something
doesn't
that,
matter how much we've grown, I've always kept that boutique feel to it.
wow,
I know my
that is
agents love to text me. I know other companies
amazing.
grow and then they have that weird 1-800 number, press 1, press 2, and they close at 5. We don't do that. You call here, it's always going to me or it's always going to Lori at the office.
Lori.
Somebody here always answers and you guys can always get in contact with me.
By the way, I'm texting Lori right now because I know that some of you are having difficulty registering for the credits. Apparently something happened with the link, Danny. So Lori's working on it. Para los que no se han podido registrar para recibir créditos por esta clase, les voy a volver a mandar el link cuando Lori lo tenga arreglado en el chat de The Club, así como también voy a subir la presentación una vez que Dani me la envíe. Se las voy a poner también en el chat de The Club. Y saben, esta clase es being recorded, está siendo grabada y cuando terminemos la vamos a poner en nuestro YouTube channel. Los que no se han suscrito al canal de The Club, vayan a The Club en YouTube y suscríbanse para que vean todas las clases que tenemos. No sé si es que tengan más preguntas. Just to confirm the prices, 375 and 425, more or less, Danny.
Let's
That's
start
kind of
around
like the
that.
range,
Yeah.
around
We'll
that
start
price
around
range.
that. But remember what I always tell people with us, it's we're licensed inspectors, we're licensed mold assessors and mold inspectors, and we're licensed for termites. So your buyer, it's like they're getting 3 companies for one price on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I always see people, they might, there's always gonna be somebody who does it a little cheaper, but to save $25 on it, but then they find termites and you gotta then hire a termite inspector, or they find mold and then you have to hire a mold company. With us is one low price on a guaranteed same day report. And one of the biggest things about us, guys, I don't think I mentioned, we offer a 90-day, we miss it, we fix it. What does that mean? Nobody wants that sour feeling that you recommended a inspector, and then you get that call that the inspector missed termites, he missed this, he missed that. With us, if we miss it, we fix it. So if your buyer moves into the property and we miss termites, they give me a call and I will send out one of our companies to go out there and treat it. It's not a third-party company. Literally, I handle it myself on it always. That way you guys never
That is
have to worry about any inspector
Great news. Great news. We like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys having me. Any questions? I'm sure Christina will give you guys my phone number. You guys can call me, text me, save the number on it. That way you guys can always send me any address on it. And I'm always here to help with anything. All right, guys?
That's fantastic. I know that your time is very valuable. Thank you for being with us today. María Andreina, te voy a poner mi teléfono para que me mandes tu mensaje y unirte al chat. Les recuerdo, la próxima clase es la preparación para el 2026. La voy a enseñar yo, va a ser en español. No se pierdan. And again, thank you so much, Raúl, for being here today, one of our brokers, and Danny. We look forward to doing more inspections with you 2026.
Thank you so much,
So for
guys.
that,
I'm gonna put my phone number in the chat.
yes,
Thank you,
please do
Danny.
so. That's even easier. So they have access to you right away. Para que puedan llamar a Dani, es importantísimo tener esa información. And this is my number. For those of you who are not part of the club, send me a text to that number so I can add you to the chat.
All right, have a great one, guys.
Thank you. See you guys next week. No se pierdan. Okay.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks so much for
Thank you,
everything.
Oscar. Thank you. We'll send you the link so you can register, María Andreina, por favor. Si copiaste el mensaje,
Thanks so
nos
much.
vemos la próxima clase. Bye bye.
Bye.